The war with the fugitive prince of Kabata and the ghoul king Radagast. When Prince SagaRA conquered the city of Kabata, one son of Prince Kabata fled to the south and slaughtered the innocents in the lands of Iliath who came across at the beginning of his journey. He also slaughtered the innocents in the lands of the southern mountain prince Natbar, and decades later, gathering supporters, decided to take revenge on Prince SagaRA. He needed an army loyal to him to strike at the Prince of SagaR, and he recruited everyone he could into it, regardless of their terrifying qualities. First, a detachment of Janissary demons was recruited, warriors recruited by danavis from enslaved SLAVS, into whose bodies demons were later instilled. Danavis are terrible monsters very skilled at deceiving people, so that the ignoble wild tribes easily gave them the names and appearance of their favorite gods. Using this and their technologies, the fugitive prince gathered a huge army. He was about to take the city of Kabata, but he was immediately captured by Radagast, a prince from the terrifying southern kingdom of the Danavis. He was shackled in iron shackles and, by order of Radagast, was taken to prison. With the help of demonologists, Radagast hoped to find a common language with him. So it lasted a year and Prince Aivrit became a faithful servant of Radagast. But gradually Prince SagaRA began to notice the strangeness of what was happening in the south. SagaRA felt that someone stronger than the fugitive prince was gaining strength, and then he ordered Prince Shilatai to attack the city of Radagast. The plan was simple. It was necessary to unexpectedly capture the Danav positions on the approaches to the city and, as soon as the prince's troops could strike, hit with all their might, and quickly march into the city. The night before the battle, Shilatai ordered meditation. He was surrounded by a handful of warriors. They began to sing and create revivals. Shilatai stood motionless, and everything went quiet. Suddenly one of the warriors, approaching him, struck him in the head with the tip of a long spear. Shilatai fell, and the warriors attacked him, stabbed him with knives. They killed him. After all, the troops of Prince Shilatai were from the southern lands, and among them were many Zaslans from Radagast. But here the gods intervened and exalted Prince Shilatai. The enemies could not kill the prince. Enemies couldn't kill loyalty. There was a terrible massacre in the camp of Prince Shilatai, and the supporters of Radagast slaughtered all the soldiers loyal to the Almighty. Aivrit waited for time for Shilatai's heart to cool down, and brought it as a gift to Radagast. Only one gold ornament remained on the prince's body, a ring with the prince's seal, by which he was identified. Prince SagaRA sent Janai Garaslav's son to the south as the head of an army assembled from the monastic order of the co-enchanters, the order of the Flaming Blood, the order of the Amber Tear, and half of the order of Striking Eagles. After that, he went to the southern lands in search of Shilatai. Days and moons passed, and finally, a large lake became visible on the plain near Mosvanakt. The place seemed beautiful. On one side, it was surrounded by mountains, on the other by a plain. In the center of the lake was a huge city, with a palace in the middle. But despite the beauty of nature, one could feel the etching of the entire area by ancient evil. There were giant white snakes in the city. Others, as Janha later told, looked like stone rhinoceroses and were venomous. There were also terrible predatory black vultures, and there were monsters there. Radagast also managed to hire warriors from a nearby mountain to guard him, and since then, 100 monster riders have been constantly on duty at the lake. According to rumors, there were crocodiles in the lake, so huge that they could swallow people on horseback. The governor gave the order not to approach the lake any closer. If anyone from the guard sees any of the monsters, he must immediately report them. No one disobeyed the order. Radagast himself, before the battle, released the tech guards to the lake, who were supposed to be the first to join the battle against the SLAVS. The tech guards brought with them an ordinary handbrake, but improved it. Apparently they foresaw that they could be sent to kill a powerful army. An ancient beam weapon was placed in the handbrake. One side of it was black, the other was blindingly white, very similar to the flame of a campfire. The gun's mirror reflected a green plane, and a distant mountain range. The tech guards fired a shot in the direction of Prince Jenka, but Janai was not afraid and declared that he would avenge the faithful Prince Shulatai. Then the tech guards moved back, and Aivrit galloped to the lake on a terrible monster. Janai looked up at him and Ivan fell off his horse, struck by a terrible lightning strike. Like Puran, Holy Prince Janai struck sinners with lightning bolts that radiated from his eyes and hands. Janai said, "For Shulatai and for the glory of SagaR." But one blow was not enough because the Danavian army was huge. Therefore, when Shulatai appeared in heaven, Janai raised his hands above his head and greeted him. Augustus was terrified and ordered all forces to attack. The monsters howled in pain and fear, but rushed into battle against the SLAVS, the warriors of the monastic order of the co-enchanters, the order of the flaming blood, the order of the amber tear, and half of the order of the striking eagles rushed at the monsters. Unidentified flying figures threw bombs and fire arrows, but the yellow and blue lightning killed everyone indiscriminately. The battle was terrible. The monsters retreated, taking the dying monks with them, into the abyss. And then from Shulatai himself flew out of the clouds and almost cut down Augustus, the youngest son of Saktavanas, with a fiery sword. At the last second, Brother Hirad threw a spear, and the spear struck Shulatai in the arm, despite the fact that he had already become a god. Janai blessed Shulatai and let him go, and when Shulatai flew away, Augustus jumped on the monster and rushed towards Janha. The monsters began to advance again. Sakraslav, the lord of the order of co-enchanters, surrounded the monsters and, having created the matter of their bodies, freed the monsters from life. When this happened, it became clear that the battle would soon be over, and Augustus attacked Sakraslav from behind. Sakraslav knocked Augustus off the monster with a wave of his hand, but Hirad arrived in time and killed Sakraslav with another sneaky blow. After that, the brothers of Sin beheaded more than 150 brothers of the co-conspirators. And then Prince Janai arrived. The god Shulatai appeared in the sky again. Hirad killed Shulatai with his black spear. Prince Janai killed Hirad with his light spear. But then Augustus' sword pierced Janhai's armor, and Janai almost died. But fortunately, the blade of the sword managed to bounce off. After that, the servants of Sin began to exterminate the brothers of the co-conspirators with such rapidity that no one could even think about preserving the brotherhood of the righteous itself. Many scattered and died, but Runa, Savarama, Semerglislav and Kajurichin were not injured. They stood around Janha. The illustrious Prince Janai rose and shot lightning at Augustus, who was killing the monks of the Order of Striking Eagles. But then Kashambacha, Augustus' assistant, released a disc with precious stones on its stand from a sling, and the disc hit Runa. But Janha's lightning saved the faithful monk. The terrifying Augustus repelled the lightning bolts of Lord Janha, and finished off the last monks of the Order of Striking Eagles with them. Then Kashambachak fired a lightning spear from his bow, which wounded Semerglislav, and Savarama struck Kashambachak. Then the battle began, and so Augustus had none of the brothers who fought for him, and Minister Korajali's brothers took refuge in the tower. But there were no mighty warriors among them, and they were cowardly. In their cowardice, they attacked the monks of the Order of the Amber Tear, while the monks of the Order of the Flaming Blood fought with the rest of the evil spirits. The brave monks of the Order of the Flaming Blood killed hundreds of danavas and thousands of monsters. They dripped their blood on the bodies of the dead and burned the bodies of the dead. The pure monks of the Order of the Flaming Blood have gained this opportunity thanks to their unquestionable loyalty to the Supreme Prince of SagaRA. They swore that they were ready to shed all their blood for the Supreme God to the last drop, and that made their blood become a flame. So they died and killed, and the forces of the unclean retreated, and so it went on until the last brotherhood of the firstborn, and only 8 rulers remained of their order. And then the righteous said, "We have what little we have left, and we will fight to the end. But we must protect not ourselves, but our teaching and our cause. If we don't do this, the evil spirits will wipe us off the face of the earth. And then they raised their swords and went at the enemy. They killed their enemies with all the passion they were capable of, and at the same time they praised the Almighty Ra, confident of victory. But the forces of evil spirits turned out to be too great. There were many danavas, and there were many monsters, and they were coming closer and closer, fleeing from their teeth, burning eyes and claws. The ardent warriors called out to the Almighty Ra, and he answered them with flashes of light. In the end, the enemies were defeated and died, but no one managed to escape. The monks' bodies were pierced with swords, knives and arrows. The illustrious Prince Janai with his lightning killed all the Danavavas and monsters that rose above the bodies of the martyrs of the Order of the Flaming Blood. He took the faithful monks themselves to the worlds of the gods in Ranak, Shuranj, Avardalt, Kalhavast, Dakshanavast, Istibhavan, Dadvax, Kalakripa, and Wathusan. Lord Janai resurrected them in this world by giving them the appearance of a flame. The terrifying Hagustus, using the darkest sorcery, called into this world 4 legions of demons eager to destroy. He summoned them with such force that the demons had already consumed part of the world just after appearing. But the righteous Danav Kagasvat, waking up in his temple, managed to gather the priests and bless the people. He called on the Danavas to surrender to the holy Janha, kill Hagustus and jointly exorcise the demons. The vile demons began to retreat before the onslaught of the monks of the Order of the Amber Tear, who defeated the cowardly Danavas and destroyed their tower. Now the Danavas turned to face the guardian of heaven, Avarasanatar, but the saint said that he would not defend the Danavas, while the servants of Hagustus killed Kagasvat and the priests who were with him. The city of the Danavas was ablaze, and the lake in the middle of which it stood was alerted. When the main sanctuary of the Danavas was destroyed, darkness fell, because ghosts broke out of prison. There was nothing left in the whole city but corpses. Terrible demons cruelly mocked all those who did not have a demonic essence in themselves. Passing invisibly, they thrust sharp claws into their souls.